Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are joined by the lovely Mojo. I feel like he hasn't been on here for a while, but he's almost a year old and look how big he is now. Just figured that I would show you all. Today we will be discussing BPD and mood swings. We know that experiencing emotional dysregulation is very common for most folks out there who do have BPD, and so I figured why not talk about this thing because it's so tricky to navigate. It's hard to understand where triggers come from, why they come about, why the length of mood swings last that long, and sometimes they're super short. And so I figured that we would really sit down and have a conversation about mood swings and BPD specifically and what to do about them. I want to start out by saying that everyone experiences emotional ups and downs, okay? This is a completely normal process regardless if you have BPD or not. And what we really want to focus on is what distinguishes normal emotional fluctuations versus BPD mood swings. I think that the main difference is that those who experience these mood swings that are categorized within this BPD symptomology, we see this very rapid shift in emotion. So we might see someone that's 1 second very happy that then moves to feeling really devastated or angry. And the intensity by which these mood swings are felt usually will lead to things such as dysregulated, not only emotions, but also actions that may be impulsive by nature. So things like binge eating, self-harm, risky sexual behaviors, maybe texting without thinking, speaking without thinking. And so this is different than the normal fluctuations that we do see for most people when they do experience a shift in their mood. So one of those distinguishing features between normal fluctuations and BPD mood swings, as I had mentioned, it's the intensity. So like I had just said, the intensity to which the emotions are felt. Two other things that can help us distinguish would be the frequency and the duration. So frequency meaning that those with BPD will often experience mood swings multiple times in the day on a regular basis. And the duration is that we see this pattern in emotional fluctuation lasting for years on end. It's not just something that if you're a woman, for example, that has a period, so every time that you're hormonal, maybe your mood changes slightly during that period of time, but on average, it's normal fluctuations that are not super intense to the point that you're acting really impulsively or in a damaging way. They're not frequent, meaning on a regular basis that changes very quickly. And it's not a pattern that has been in your life for years on end. So what exactly causes BPD mood swings? I think that one of the tricky things when it comes to this is that the trigger is not always conscious, meaning that it's not always very evident and easy to identify, which makes the process of knowing triggers, processes behind emotions and ways to manage them that much more difficult, because if we don't have a clear sense about what is triggering these mood swings because it's linked to this really deep unconscious thing, it might be hard to manage in the moment. So the way that I like to categorize what causes mood swings specifically, it could be things linked to external triggers or internal triggers. So if we start with these external triggers, usually these external triggers have to do with real or perceived abandonment or rejection. As we know, folks who have BPD are hyper aware, hypersensitive to abandonment, whether real or perceived. And so I'll just give you an example. Let's say that your friends are going to see a movie and they knew that you were working that day, so they didn't invite you. Even though you're working and you wouldn't have been able to come, the fact that they didn't invite you might trigger this fear of abandonment, even though it's perceived and not real. This might trigger a mood swing. And so if we're not aware of these internal processes and patterns, it's hard to distinguish that external triggers. Sometimes, I mean, people are mean with us and those things, so it makes sense. And sometimes it's just our own interpretation of reality. So really looking at those external triggers relating to abandonment, relating to relational issues, losing a job, stressors in our lives. So there's a lot of external things that could happen on a day-to-day basis. Now looking at those more internal triggers, feelings of emptiness, again, is another symptom related to BPD. And feeling empty means that you could have a tendency to unravel when you're alone, when you're bored, when you're experiencing downtime with nothing to do. Then a mood swing might come up because you are so uncomfortable in this feeling of emptiness, of nothingness. Thoughts might emerge of no one loves you, you're not good enough, you're not this. And so there might be internal triggers happening that you're really unaware of. And I think that's important to note that with mood swings, I know just from personal experience, sometimes they're hard to tell what exactly is going on. Sometimes we just wake up kind of in a funk, and it's with develop awareness that we can build consciousness of, okay, I actually just didn't sleep well and I'm more sensitive to rejection. So meaning that maybe I'm hyper aware to criticism, and when people are making jokes towards me, I perceive it as an attack rather than for the joke at face value that it is, because I'm actually tired, or I'm really hormonal right now because I'm on my period. And so again, I'm more sensitive to criticism, to rejection, to all those things. I'm hungry, I'm cold, I'm too hot. There may be a lot of environmental things or internal things related to hormones and sleep and whatnot that make us more vulnerable to perceived abandonment or rejection, which means that mood swings might be more likely. So with that said, that kind of leads me to my next point, which is, what do we do about mood swings? I think one of the main things that is important to note is that although we can minimize triggers to some extent, it's impossible to remove all triggers from our life unless you live in a cave by yourself alone, which I'm sure that most of you do not aspire to do or are not currently doing. And so the way that I would recommend approaching this would be not to aim to minimize triggers, but aim to minimize vulnerabilities firstly, meaning making sure that you're sleeping well, that you're getting 8 hours a night, making sure that you're moving your body on a regular basis, that you're getting enough social interaction, that you're eating regular meals that are energizing, that you're drinking water. So taking care of those basic needs, connecting with others, that we all need to feel wholesome, to feel ready to face the day. And I will just tell you that when I sleep well, and it's sunny outside, and I go take a walk first thing in the morning, and that day I see some of my friends, and I'm eating my meals regularly, and I'm drinking my water and all these things, I'm taking my vitamins, I feel way more apt and capable of facing difficult situations, meaning that my mood swings will not be as prominent as other times when I'm not taking care of myself. So the first thing would be to take care of our physical being, taking care of those basic needs to minimize the incident of mood swings. The second thing that I would recommend would be to develop awareness of your triggers. And now there's a million ways of doing this. You can download an app on your phone called Dailyo. Using Dailyo, you can track your mood and link the activities that are related to your mood, so that it's almost building a case for what activities on average or things tend to be correlated with a lower mood. So once you develop awareness of your triggers and you've taken care of that first thing, which is your physical wellness, then if you do get triggered, the tendency will be more towards dealing with those feelings internally rather than externalizing all those things and saying, you suck and you're the problem and you're the reason why I'm feeling this way and it's your fault and you need to change this and that. Meanwhile, it's just that you're feeling triggered because of past things that this thing now is bringing up, and it has nothing to do with the thing now. And so if we can develop a deep felt sense of that awareness, the way that we will handle situations will be much more effective, and in turn will, again, decrease the intensity of the mood swings. Because if we're not aware and we're externalizing everything and blaming everything on other people, all that this is doing is almost amplifying those feelings of anger, of hurt, of frustration, rather than allowing us to process the feelings, accept them, provide us compassion, and let them go. Other things I would recommend, as always, practicing self-compassion. It's okay to have mood swings. It's okay that those things happen. And when they do happen, providing yourselves with comfort and compassion to know that this moment will not last forever, that it's okay. Because again, when we have mood swings, we tend to do what? Spiral into shame, into a bunch of whole tricky and sticky emotions, which makes everything worse. So practicing self-compassion, mindfulness skills to help us develop this awareness of sensations relating to the mood swings that follow. And of course, doing things such as therapy. Therapy is awesome because it gives you a safe space to explore those emotions with someone who is unbiased, who will be there to support you every step of the way and will help you along this journey because it can be really difficult at times. Here we have it. That's a brief overview about BPD and mood swings, what they are, what causes them, and how to help. And as always, I am curious to hear from all of you, so please let me know in the comments down below what has helped you along the way, what things help you develop awareness of triggers, what are ways that you can help to decrease biological vulnerabilities so that you're not as susceptible to mood swings. On that note, Mojo and I wish you an amazing week, and we will see you next time for another episode of On the Line. Bye!